Alright, we're here again at Trainer Life Fitness, our home gym, and today we're going to do some glutes, hamstrings and back, not in that specific direction, but since I have really bad hernia, I really have to focus on working on my glutes, some mobility work before I can get into any kind of heavy back stuff. So I'll take you through it and I'll try to explain why and where and when I do stuff, and hopefully you guys can learn something from that. Follow along. All right, so the first exercise we're going to do is the seated leg curl. What I really want to do here is to activate my inner hamstrings all the way to the adductors. And I really want to do this because the second exercise is going to be a superset with hip thrust and abductor. And in the hip thrust, I really want to be able to isolate my glutes because that's a really weak body part for me. So if I pre-exhaust them, move on to the hip thrust, things will just move smoother. And then after that, we're going to move into heavy barbell rows and either stiff leg deadlift, really light because of my hernia, or rack pulls. And then we'll just take it from there and try to go through why, when, and where. So in this exercise, or in every exercise, I try to work in a tempo that's 1, 2, 3, 1. And what that means that I do the concentric range of the motion, fast and explosive, because that will help me recruit more muscle fibers being worked. And then in the bottom part, with the full contracted portion, I want to squeeze as hard as I can for 2 seconds. Because in my opinion, in the isometric phase, we can really build a lot of muscle majority, depth to the muscle, and that's something we really want as bodybuilders. And in the eccentric portion, I want to hold for 2.5 to 3 seconds up to really break down all these muscle fibers that are recruited. And then in the top of the portion, in the beginning of the exercise, I want to hold for 1 second to remove any sort of momentum. So the only thing that I will be able to work with on the concentric phase in the next rep is the actual hamstring. If I remove the pause, it's very easy to utilize my hips, my lower back, my glutes and other shit. So I really want to stay true to working with what's intended to be worked. And this is something I really want you to consider when you train. Train hard, heavy, but smart. Don't just bounce weights. Oh shit, that feels good. Whew. In every set, like my working sets, I always try to do as much as I can. So if I set like a rep range for myself that's 10 to 12, and if I just hit 8 or something, I don't really care about the numbers. I want to do as much as I can with the best intensity and with the best execution. So if I get example 8, then I'm going to do as many fucking portions as I can, just to go above and beyond what I'm capable to do. And then the third set of pretty much every exercise is some kind of intensifier. And I don't really go with like exactly I have to do a drop set here, rest pause here. I go from day-to-day basis from what I feel like and how my body feels. I just want to take my sets as far as I possibly can. And that's the only goal. Whew. Okay, so intensifier. This is what we love. Fuck, this is heavy. Okay. Ah! Fuck. Oh. This is how I want to feel after the first exercise. So that I'm really warmed up before the heavy stuff. Oh, that's hard. Ooh. Shit, that's hard. All right, moving forward. Bada bing, bada boom. And during my training, I use EAA Plus from SSN, which is the essential amino acids with some citrulline. So I think this makes for a perfect intra-workout. I know a lot of guys are actually neglecting their glute work. Oh, behind you. And I have been for a long time as well. I've always had decent glutes, but in order to stay healthy and remove the risk of increasing my injuries, as I said, I have a hernia in L4, L5. So to prevent that from getting worse, I have to strengthen my glutes a lot. So it's both from an aesthetic standpoint with competing, but also functional. Strong glutes is good. So don't neglect your glute work. Now she's going to take the abductor, which I had in mind I was going to superset this with. So I think I'm going to use the kickback machine instead. So always stay flexible with your training. Like your training program and your training guide is just a training guide. As long as you use, for example, if she takes a machine that you're supposed to use something that will stimulate the same things. So you don't ever just stand still and wait for 5 to 10 sets and just wasting your time. Never waste time. The worst part about this machine is getting in and out. It's half a workout. I know it doesn't look like I actually contract my glutes. I can go further up, but this won't help me in any way, shape, or form. What I want to do is to roll my pelvis up so that I completely contract the glutes in the top. If I just use a hip extension, then I will contract my erectors a lot more, and that will make my waist look a lot wider than it actually is. So I want to remove as much erector stimulant as possible in these like compound movements that I try to make isolation movements. So that's a great tip. Roll your pelvis. It also makes it like 4 times harder as well. All right. So this is just a warm up. I think I'm gonna go for 5 plates per side here. And then in the kickback, I will go for 12 to 15 reps. And this is just to get like better my muscle connection, keep thinning the skin, and become a better bodybuilder. So this is like a density builder, detail work, at least for me. My weak glute is my left glute, so I always start off with the weaker side to be able to minimize the strength in between. And I also have a weaker left hip, so I understand now that my body, what I need to strengthen in order to get better as a person, like a functional human being, and also become a better bodybuilder. Because if I keep strengthening my right side more than my left, my entire physique will get more uneven. And what I'm desperately trying to do now is to even out right to left side. Left chest is bigger than right front delt is bigger than the left. So I'm really trying to evaluate and get better. And that's something you always have to strive for, in my opinion. in all aspects of life. Sure, in bodybuilding because it's visible, but also in your business, in your relationships. Always try to become a better person. That's heavy. All right, more weight. All right, and one thing I want to add before I do my first working set here is that I keep absolutely no track whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. How much weight I did the last session, how many reps. I go by feeling. If I have a good day, then I lift as much weight as I can for as many reps as I can. If I have a less good day, I will do more reps with lighter weights. It's very simple. There's no one way, shape, or form that you have to do or have to train to get bigger or better. What the fuck is this thing? Always a struggle. This is the worst part about doing this. Okay, there. Fuck you. Whew. That's a rush. And I'm stuck again. I'm loose. I'm free. Whew. Okay, so that's set one. I have two more. Now I'll try to keep this weight for all three sets. And the last set won't be an intensifier because this was heavy. So I'm trying to rest like 60 seconds max between each set, 45 to 60 seconds. I don't think I get any more recovered by resting more. If I do a really heavy compound like a heavy bench or a heavy squat, then I will rest as long as it takes me to feel ready. But in isolation movements, regardless if they're heavy or not, I don't really care. Just want to keep the blood flow going. Every set is a chance to get better. That's the only way I try to view the training. Like why am I doing this? And what's the goal of reaching after doing this? And that's, in my opinion, how a training program should be built, around what you want and need to improve your physique, as I said, both on a functional level, but also aesthetically, if you're pursuing bodybuilding. Oh, my legs are so pumped. And this is exactly what I want before going into the heavy rows. So all good. I'm not even sweating. All right, so here we're gonna do the barbell reverse grip row. I've always been a bigger fan of the pronated grip versus the supinated grip. But my I'm so much stronger and I have an issue with my entire nerves in my right arm. So when I do the pronated grip row, the only thing I'm doing is pretty much shrugging it unevenly. So I tried incorporating the supinated row for quite some weeks now, and it feels so much better. And it also forces me into a line of position where I need to keep my entire core engaged, glutes, abs, and lower back, so I can really only pull with the back. And my goal here is to, if you imagine this is a traps to the back, I try to target slightly below the scapula, but really forcing the scapula together, if that makes sense. Because I see this as a thickness exercise. And whenever I contract my scapula to the fullest, I will also engage my teres major and teres minor and my lats. So I will get overall density from this movement, which I think is superb. So we're gonna do this as a warm-up, and then today we're gonna go into rack pulls. I think I'm gonna do 3 sets of 10 to 12 at 140 kilos. And then in the rack pulls, I'm gonna start with the weight that I did my last set of barbell rows on. And then I'm gonna do 10, 10, 10 add weight until I do reach a weight where I can't reach 10 reps. So that's it for this. And why I do that with the rack pulls is because I wanna get the most reward and the most stimulus and remove as much risk as possible. Because when it comes to heavy central nervous system load movements like this, I think the risk goes far above and beyond the reward. So if we can get more volume in on a lower weight, we will reduce the risk and get more reward out of it. So this is my approach on things. This is how I like to do it. It's obviously worked. My back is decent. So yeah. And I forgot to say, I think this is one of the only exercises where you can't focus on squeezing the muscle for 2 seconds, as I said in the seated leg curl. It's way too awkward in a biomechanic way because of how the weight leverages throughout the range of motion. If I were about to squeeze and hold here for 2 seconds, then I could only use like 40, 50 kilos max. And that, I think, reduces the reward and just is fluff work. So we have to see, as I said previously, what's the function and what do we want to get out of this specific exercise. I don't think squeezing and holding is not necessarily a bad thing. I think that's fucking great, to be honest, but I prefer to do that in a cable, which I'm going to do later, than here. More weight. This is really heavy today. Really, really heavy. Oh. Oh, fuck. And what I'm really trying to force myself to do here is to keep my hips and my knees locked in place. I get so many videos sent from clients where in order to get some power, what's easy to do is that you want to look out, like semi-squat the weight up like this, but that doesn't make you isolate the back. So it doesn't matter if this is a compound, a heavy compound. My goal is still to isolate the muscle, not make this into like a CrossFit exercise. I want a bigger back, I want a meatier back, and the way to get a meatier back is to row and only to isolate. It's bodybuilding. And I told myself as well, you will only see me training in big clothing. Like, for me, it's easy when I'm training like stringers, tank tops, tight t-shirt that I'm only human. That gets more focused on how things look in between sets than actually focusing on the actual work that's supposed to happen. So I realized this after prep, like, bigger clothes, focus on what's in front of you, and make sure you give it 100%. I can do some posters after each session just to be able to see how things progress and how it looks with a pump, but during training, it's full fucking throttle. Okay, last set, best set, always. But this session is very, very hard because it's frying your nervous system. And even though I say that I'm isolating stuff, I will still incorporate my central nervous system. But what I'm trying to do is to mitigate that as much as possible. I don't know, if you followed me for a while, I've been able to deadlift like 7.5 plates, 7 3/4 for reps. And I've squatted 7 plates as well for reps. But those times are long gone. What I'm trying to do now is build a better physique. And I don't do that by striving to be more of a powerlifter than an actual bodybuilder. So you have to focus on what road will take you the most forward and in the direction of your goals. And that's, as I said before, it's true in all aspects of life, not only training. So let's fucking get it. Those last reps were not nice, but they were heavy. And I can feel them exactly where I want to feel them. So if you're standing in between, stopping your set and doing a few forced reps, I will always be an advocate of doing the forced reps. It will take you somewhere, I promise. Oof. I don't really care about the actual numbers, but for me this is an indicator that it's an intense workout. Okay, so next up, I said rack pulls. I'm not gonna do them like a stiff-legged rack pull. And the same principle here as I did in the hip thrust. I'm not gonna focus on extending my hip as fast as possible. What I wanna do is roll with my pelvis up to a full back contraction. Because I wanna get thicker, better hamstrings, glutes, and especially the glute ham thigh in as well. So if I do these with this specific movement pattern and execution, that will help me both building density in my entire posture shape. So really be picky about how you do your exercise as well, especially when you reach a certain threshold and like how advanced you are in the gym. You won't always be able to increase the load because we're only humans and we're not built to deadlift 500 kilos for 10 reps. So be smart about it. I'm so dead. I'm gonna add a 10 and I'm gonna add another 10. So hopefully I can get a total of 3 sets here. But that was heavy. If you decide to try this training program or training session, you will be fucked by these. They're very heavy now. I can bench more than this. But that's okay. That's what I want. Lower risk, high reward. But I can feel every rep, but also every millimeter of each rep, how my muscle fibers are working. So I'm perfectly happy. This is how it's supposed to be. Woo. Also, what I have to add is I think I'm in the 3rd week or so being able to do any kind of squat movement without pain and bent over exercises. And it's been like 3 years since I've been able to do this. So this is a great success for me. And as I said before about logging weights and everything, there's so many ways to do things. This is the way I do things. This is what I think is superior. But if you think something else is superior and that works for you, then do that. I am not judging by any way, means, shapes or form. I'm always just going to let you know what I think is superior, what I think is the best, what you can avoid to prevent injuries, etc. I have 15 years of experience in this business. I don't know everything, but I have some experience into letting you know what I think is the best. So just letting you know, do what works for you, but be smart about it. All right, so life happens and we have to call it a day now. I'm gonna finish this session and we will redo it another time. But I will do lat pull downs, pullovers. That's the last exercises for back. And I will do lying leg curl and standing calf raises. And that's the end of this session. So everything that I want to cover is in this video. So I'm really fucking happy for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll try to make a giveaway as well with both SSN and with Gas and Better Bodies going to celebrate that we're off to a great start with this YouTube thing, finally. So yeah, subscribe, like, comment below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.